I've always been fascinated by the dark corners of the internet. Not because I wanted to do anything illegal, just curiosity. You hear all these stories about people selling organs, hitmen, or worse. But most of it's fake. At least, that's what I thought. I'm a cybersecurity student. Last year, during a night project, I was testing how deep I could crawl using a Tor proxy chain. My goal was simple: find hidden forums and analyze their network structures for a class report. The first few sites were what you'd expect: random markets, empty chat boards, scam pages. But then, around 2:14 a.m., I found a hidden directory with a strange name: Echo Dreams. No description. Just that. When I clicked, the screen stayed black for a full minute. Then, one line appeared: "If you've made it here, you've already been seen." My VPN lagged right after that. My mouse froze, then jittered like something was taking control for a split second. I almost closed the window, but another line popped up. Live text, like someone was typing on the other end. "You can observe, just don't engage." The page loaded. A basic forum layout, dark gray background, white text. No usernames, no post counts. Just a list of threads, each titled like diary entries. Room 47, she's still breathing, midnight experiment. I clicked the last one. The thread opened with a single image. It was a room, completely white. In the middle was a metal hospital bed with someone lying on it. The image looked live, like it was from a security camera feed. At the bottom of the frame was a timestamp, 01:59:43 a.m. Then the chat refreshed, showing a message. "Session begins in 001. I thought maybe it was just a creepy ARG or some fake found footage setup. But then the timer hit 0. The camera feed flickered. The person on the bed, a woman, started moving. Her wrists were strapped down. She looked terrified, mouthing something silently toward the camera. Another message appeared under the stream. Subject 12 is aware. Begin observation. I froze. My heart was pounding. I looked for any sign that this was fake, a watermark, a file name, anything. There was nothing. After about 30 seconds, I noticed something moving in the corner of the frame. A figure wearing a black hood slowly stepped into the light. He wasn't holding anything, but the second he appeared, the woman's body started to convulse violently. I slammed my laptop shut. Instantly, my phone buzzed on the desk. No notifications, just my screen lighting up. It displayed a message on the lock screen, not from any app, just text overlaid like part of the OS. You were told not to engage. I yanked my Ethernet cable out, shut everything down, and sat there for a full minute, staring at the black screen. After that night, weird things started happening. Random knocks on my dorm door around 3 a.m. When I opened it, no one was there. My laptop's webcam light would flicker on when I wasn't using it. Once I woke up and found the Echo Dreams directory bookmarked again, even though I'd wiped my browser and reinstalled Tor. A few days later, I got an email. No subject, no sender. Just an attached file named observer.log. I didn't open it. I forwarded it to a clean sandbox VM instead. When I checked the file type, it wasn't a normal text document. It was a .dat file, size 14.7 MB. Inside, it was full of hexadecimal strings, but one segment stood out. In between the code, there were readable lines. Session 12, Observer 114, non-compliant, identified. Then another line with a timestamp matching the exact moment I closed my laptop that night. I showed it to my professor. He thought it was some kind of prank or virus log, until I scrolled to the bottom. There was a still image embedded at the end of the file. It was a photo of my dorm room, taken from an angle above my desk. That night, I didn't sleep. I packed my things, went to a friend's apartment across town, and ran a full device scan. Nothing malicious found, no hidden processes, no camera access logs. Still, for the next few days, I felt watched, like someone was waiting for me to go back online. So I formatted everything, switched to a new laptop, new network, new phone. I thought that was the end of it. Until 3 months later, I was at a coffee shop near campus using public Wi-Fi. I opened my email. The same anonymous address had sent another message. No text this time, just one attached image. It was the same white room. But now, there were 2 hospital beds. The woman was gone. And in the second bed, blurred but unmistakable, was me. I used to think the creepiest thing about the deep web was the illegal markets, until I stumbled on something that didn't want to be seen. In 2022, I was running a small tech channel on YouTube where I reviewed privacy tools and deep web myths. It wasn't big, just a few thousand subscribers, but I prided myself on debunking fake stories. One night, while preparing for a video, I found a thread on an Onion board called "The Streams That Never End." The title was vague, but people in the comments claimed these were live feeds that never showed up on search indexes, not hosted on any platform you could trace. Most replies were nonsense, but one stood out. A user named Zero Trace posted coordinates that looked like a Tor address, except it wasn't formatted correctly. It looked like half of a hidden link, broken in the middle. I fixed the syntax manually, out of curiosity. When I hit enter, the page loaded faster than I expected. Just a plain black screen with a single button. Watch stream. No title, no viewer count, no description. I hesitated, hovered over it for a second, then clicked. The stream started instantly. It was a dark room, grainy, low light, like an old CCTV feed. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the static cleared enough for me to see someone sitting in a chair, facing the camera. The person didn't move. No sound, no background noise, nothing. Just the faint hum of static. At first, I thought it was just a looped video, but about 2 minutes in, the person's head twitched slightly, like a glitch. Then they raised their hand. They weren't waving. They were pointing, right at the camera. That's when the counter appeared in the top corner. 1 viewer. It was me. I remember whispering out loud, "Is this live?" As if they could hear me, and then the number changed. 2 viewers. I froze. There shouldn't have been another viewer. This wasn't a public stream. There were no links, no shareable page, no embeds. I stared at the feed. The person in the chair tilted their head slightly to the side, as if listening. Then, for the first time, they spoke. The voice came through my speakers like a whisper dragged across sandpaper. "Don't leave. You're almost ready." I instantly closed the tab, but even after I shut down Tor, my speakers kept playing faint static for a few seconds longer. That night, I went back to my recording folder and noticed something that made my stomach drop. OBS had recorded the entire session on its own. I hadn't hit record. The file was named automatically as stream001.mp4. When I tried to open it, it wouldn't play, just a blank screen and a high-pitched tone that lasted about a minute. At the end, the frame froze on an image, the same person in the chair. But this time, the camera angle was different. It was closer, too close, like the camera had been moved toward them while I was offline. I deleted the file immediately, but when I checked my desktop, it had reappeared with a new name, stream002.mp4. I shut off my PC, unplugged everything, even removed my router's power cord. Then I left my apartment for a few hours to clear my head. When I came back, my monitor was on. Not fully, just faint light bleeding from the corners. And on the center of the screen, there was text written across a blank background. "You're next to stream." I didn't even touch the keyboard. I yanked the power again and left my system disconnected for a full day. The next morning, I took the tower apart, pulled the hard drive, checked for malware, data logs, anything. Nothing malicious, no hidden executables. Just one empty folder left in my videos directory with a single file name that said, "Live Soon." I wiped the entire drive, did a clean reinstall, changed my IP, changed everything. For months, nothing else happened, until last week. I was live streaming a normal QA on my YouTube channel talking about online safety. Someone in chat sent a message. "Why'd you stop streaming?" I thought they were joking, but then another comment appeared. "We've been watching you since the first one." The usernames weren't clickable. They didn't link to real accounts. And when I checked my analytics afterward, there was one strange stat: a connected IP address that wasn't from YouTube servers, showing up as a direct feed for 4 minutes and 32 seconds. I don't know if it's some elaborate prank or something worse, but a few nights ago I woke up to a faint hum from my computer. The screen was on again, camera light blinking. There was a new file in my folder recorded just an hour earlier. It was another stream. Only this time the camera wasn't pointed at someone else. It was pointed at me, sleeping. And in the corner of the frame, the viewer count said 1. Then it flickered. 2. I work as a data recovery technician. Most of my clients are boring, people who accidentally delete wedding photos or lose old hard drives. But one night I got a job that didn't feel like the others. It came through an encrypted email, no sender name, just a PGP signature and a short message. Recover everything. Do not rename the files. Payment will be automatic. Attached was a link to download a 3 terabyte encrypted drive image. That's not unusual for me. I take on freelance forensic jobs from time to time. What was strange was the payment. $5,000 upfront in Bitcoin, already in my wallet before I'd even started. The image was corrupted in several segments, which meant I had to rebuild it manually, sector by sector. As I reconstructed the file tree, I noticed something odd. Instead of normal folder names, everything was labeled as timestamps. 01100, 01115, 01130, like segments of time, exactly 15 minutes apart. Each folder contained dozens of MP4 and log files. No thumbnails, no metadata, no creation date. When I opened the first one, it was just black screen footage, static, no sound. But at the 1457 mark, a faint light flickered in the frame, like a match being struck somewhere in the dark. I thought it was a glitch until I played the next folder, URO111500. This time the match light appeared sooner, brighter, and behind it I saw something that made my stomach drop. A person's face, not clear, just illuminated for a second before the light went out. But the frame froze, like the file itself didn't want to continue. Every 15-minute segment after that showed more. Each time, the face got closer. And I realized something. It wasn't the same person every time. Different faces, different rooms, same camera angle. The most disturbing part was how natural it looked. No horror music, no jump scares, just raw footage. Each clip ended exactly at 14:59, cutting off abruptly. When I reached folder 024500, my software began lagging. The preview window froze, but my CPU started maxing out, like something was running in the background. I checked Task Manager, and a new process had appeared, Archive, Live. I didn't install that. I tried force quitting it, but it wouldn't stop. Instead, a small terminal window popped up on its own and displayed Reconstruction complete. Viewer recognized. Then my screen flashed white for half a second. When it came back, there was a new folder on my desktop called Recovered U. Inside were hundreds of new .mp4 files, all recorded from my webcam. Timestamps matched exactly with the times I'd been working that night. At first I thought it was some malware payload that activated during recovery, but then I noticed something wrong with the footage. In the corner of each video, I could see myself sitting at my desk, but behind me, in the shadows of my room, there was another figure, barely visible, standing motionless. At 02:46 a.m., that figure leaned closer into the light. I paused the frame. Its face was blurred, distorted like static, but I swear it was smiling. Then the screen glitched again, and the file I was playing vanished, just disappeared from the directory. One by one, the other files started deleting themselves, every single one, until only one remained, 0300 MP4. I hovered my cursor over it. Size, 666 MB. Duration, 15 MB. When I opened it, there was no static, no dark room, just a clear, high-resolution video feed of my apartment, but not from my webcam's angle. This one was shot from the corner of the ceiling, like a mounted surveillance camera. I froze. That angle didn't exist. There was no camera up there. The video showed me sitting exactly as I was, watching the playback in real time. Then, at minute 02:14, the version of me on screen turned to look directly at the camera, even though I hadn't moved in real life. I watched in total silence as my on-screen double slowly smiled and whispered something I couldn't hear. But the mic picked up the faint sound of static again, and then he lifted his hand and waved at me. My speakers crackled. A robotic voice spoke through the feed, the same synthetic tone as before. "Archive updated. Viewer synced." I yanked my Ethernet cable, closed everything, and threw a towel over my webcam. The screen went black. Then text started typing itself across the desktop. "You were never supposed to restore it." I powered off my PC, physically removed the drive. That should have been the end. But the next morning, my phone vibrated. A notification. OneDrive backup complete. 1,422 new files. The recovery drive wasn't even connected. And when I opened my cloud storage, all the deleted footage was there again. Except now, every file name was replaced with my full name and the exact time I'd viewed them. I deleted the account, changed devices, changed everything. But a few days later, I received one final email. Same encrypted signature, no subject. The message said, "Thank you for completing Phase 3. Your archive is now part of the collection." At the bottom there was a link, no address, no file name, just a timestamp, 0300. I never clicked it, but last week a new folder appeared on my home desktop. I didn't create it. It was titled simply 004 ORUD 00, and the most recent file inside, it's still recording.